Alright, what's good, y'all? In today's video, I am going to be talking about big men, which is power forward and center. Now, I did the same thing with small forwards and shooting guards, which were the scorers, but this time we're gonna be talking about big men, man. So why is having a big man important? Number one, you need to get easy buckets. So if your scorer isn't scoring, so if it's tough for your scorer to score some points, you just go into the paint, you throw down a dunk. That's an easy bucket right there. You know, these guys are usually the better slashers on the court, meaning that they can go inside the paint and they can just put it up. You know what I'm saying? Now, the second reason why this position is important is paint defense, man. You know, getting rebounds, getting blocks. Overall, just having really good defense in the paint, you know. But yeah, pretty much, man, I'm gonna be showing y'all the positions, you know, both power forward and center, you know, what play styles the characters would have, and how you can play it effectively. So, go to characters. Let's talk about power forwards first. Power forwards are usually smaller than center, slightly smaller. You know, they are still big men. So you got two types of big men. You got the pulse scoring big men, and then you got the stretch big men. So power forward mostly has stretches in there. So some example stretch big men would be Lulu, Fee, Fox, and Marisol. You know, those would be stretch big men. Stretch big men, they create room for the shot creators, so they can slash the ball. So they pretty much get open, so they can create space for the shot creators to drive to the paint. So pretty much these big men are less aggressive, but are more athletic in terms of speed. Yeah, these big men are usually faster than the pulse scoring big men. So some pulse scoring big men would be like Clark, Murdoch, Deacon, Max, Double D, Giant G, etc. Those will be like pulse scoring big men. So big men that can't necessarily shoot, but can score in the paint. But yeah, pretty much, man. Big men are all gonna have some in common, man. They're all gonna be like really good at rebounding. So, you know. But yeah, let's talk about big men. So when you're playing power forward, most power forwards are stretches. So you'll find a good stretch power forward big man. You know, you upgrade him, get a level 5. For freestyles, you want to put some, depending on if the power forward can dunk or not, you want to put some dunking freestyles on them. So short distance dunk, long distance layup, short distance layup, and then you want a shooting freestyle for the stretch big man. So Lulu would be a great example of a stretch big man. Now, some that you're gonna see, you're gonna be seeing some. When you first play big man, you're gonna be seeing a lot of glass cleaning abilities. So like box out, chip out, poise to learn, physical Lulu. Like you'll see some rebounding abilities. These are abilities that help you get boards as a big man. You'll also notice that most of the big men also have dunk at will, which is very common. Some of them don't, but that's because they're mostly like defensive big men. You got pick and move. Pick and move is a very common one for stretch big men to have, because you'll be able to pick and pop. So you pick, you set a screen, and then you pop, so then you can get open and you shoot it. Manual layup. Yep, you'll see that. That's actually kind of common for big men. I'm not saying it's not really the most common, but it's pretty common actually. Quick post up turn, you know, and then spin move. You'll have some pulse scoring moves. You know, Lulu has rebound shoot. You have some screen skills. You have some glass cleaning skills. You pretty much just have interior skills, pretty much. Skills that help you inside the paint. You know, when you're playing stretch big man, you're gonna notice that they might have like shooting touch, which is a really good asset for stretch big men. That way they're able to stretch the floor out. You know, so then their shot creators / small forwards can go inside the paint and slash the ball. For ability cards, you're playing a stretch big man. You know, instead of using speed, use post-up speed. Post-up speed should be used more often because let's be real. As a big man, you don't need to be fast, you know? Being shifty as a big man is not really needed, to be honest. So all you just use is you use post-up speed. For here, you got to use rebound, use whatever pull scoring move you have. I don't really recommend you upgrade shooting as a big man because, upgrading shooting is overrated, to be honest. If you can use rebound, go for rebounds. Like, just rebound for ice cream and then rebound for the pizzas as well. You don't need shooting cards, just pull scoring and all that. So try to focus more on your pull scoring because these big men usually are going to have better shooting. Because rebounding, guys, it's very important. Now, when you upgrade attributes, I recommend upgrading rebound specifically because rebound is going to be the best one here. So I recommend getting your rebound to at least a 205. At least a 205. This is so that way you're able to catch some boards. You'll be able to snag some rebounds, which is very important as a big man. You want to be able to catch some boards. Other than that, I probably wouldn't really know what skills to upgrade for your slashing or passing or etc. etc. Yeah, I'd say rebounding is a pretty good one actually. I recommend just upgrading rebound, and that's literally it for big man. And then you got your pull scoring big men. It's very common for centers to pull score. It's like Luther would be a good pull scorer, big dog. Now some examples, some stretch centers would be like Blair, Camila, sometimes Lloyd, sometimes Lee. Sometimes Big Joe. It depends if you put shooting touch on him. But yeah, let's talk about centers real quick. When it comes to centers, you're gonna want, like I said, most of them are gonna have paint skills. They're also gonna have some rebounding skills as well. The difference is that power forwards are gonna usually have more shooting skills compared to centers. Centers are gonna have more pull scoring skills. That's pretty much it. Yep, see skills that help your rebounding or help, your interior scoring. Freestyles, as a center, you're just using slashing freestyle. So if you have dunking, long distance dunk, short distance dunk, long distance layup, short distance layup, no shooting freestyles unless your center can shoot. Yep, same thing for centers. Just put rebounding cards on them, post-up speed, interior scoring for fries and burgers, and then pizza, more rebound. That's literally it. Yeah, big man is usually a simple position. You're not really doing much. All you're doing, you're not like the scorer where you need to take scoring seriously. But yeah, as a big man, when you're playing this game, you give your ball to your scorer. If you do start off with the ball, give it to your scorer. Set screens off ball. Do not set them on ball because that's how you get big men on each other. So it's something that you're gonna see. You're gonna see mismatches. So like you might read your guy and all that. You might have to switch. Try not to switch too often because if you guys switch too often, you're gonna get the big man. You're gonna get your guard to guard the big man. That's usually what you don't want to do, because trust me guys, you're gonna have the only one that has interior defense. So your best bet is to, when you're playing as a big man, try not to switch too often. Try to just stick with your mans. Occasionally you're gonna score in the paint. You're not always gonna be scoring all the time. So but I do recommend that you guys get good rebounding because rebounding is super important, bro. I am telling you guys, you want rebounding. Rebounding is super important in this game, man. But yeah, other than that, man,
is gonna be key. You see that steal? Almost out of time.
Yeah, other than that, guys, as a big man, it's more of like an intermediate position. It's not too easy, but it's not too hard, I recommend using this position if you're like somewhat decent at the game. So that's pretty much if you're somewhat decent. But yeah, pretty much, man. If you guys ever play as a big man, bro, it's not like that difficult, bro. But yeah, other than that, bro, that's gonna be it for today's video, man. Peace out, man. You know, hopefully y'all don't get sold by randoms. But yeah.